What's going on, everybody? And today I have yet another manga review for you guys, and the best way to describe this manga is zombie boobies. Yes, you heard that right. Today's manga is going to be called Only I Am Not Attacked in a World Overflowing with Zombies. And this manga is really good. It's got action, it's got gore, it's got boobies, specifically zombie boobies, and it's awesome. The one thing I like about this manga is it's kind of based in reality. Like, every character behaves how a normal human would react in these situations. You don't have the overly heroic MC or the overly bad like villain or anything. It's way more realistic than anything else, and the other best part, it's all in color, which is another huge plus. So the manga starts off with our main character, Takemura Yusuke, and he wakes up from a terrible nightmare where he's getting attacked by a zombie, but lo and behold, that nightmare was true. He was actually bitten by a zombie, but unlike in normal zombie adventures, he doesn't get turned into one. He is completely immune. So after he wakes up, he does the first thing that every human in the world does, is checks Twitter. He notices that everything's gone to shit, and he's still trying to get his bearings and everything when our sexy zombie waifu decides to make her first appearance, and he right away notices that something's wrong and that she's obviously a zombie, but she's not attacking him. So that is when our main character decides to head outside. We need to do some science and figure out what exactly is going on. And once he heads outside, he hears a mother and a daughter crying for help. Zombies are banging at her door, and he's like, you know what, I got this. He comes up to the zombies and he notices that they're not attacking him. They're just completely ignoring him. So he gets rid of the zombies and tells the girls that, hey, there are zombies everywhere, but they're not really doing much, so we could just kind of walk out of here. And that's exactly what they try to do. But the second that they get outside, the zombies see the two girls and immediately charge at them, ignoring our main character, and kind of kill them. So he literally caused the death of these two people. And this haunts him for like a couple days, and then he kind of just like gets over it. So after he completely got those two people killed, he heads back to his apartment where he had tied up and restrained his big-titted zombie waifu, and he decides, you know what, I hate these zombies, I'm gonna take my anger out on her, and then proceeds to do, and I don't think I need to explain it. I think these blurred images kind of speak for themselves. So after he is done having his fun with his zombie waifu, again, he leaves her tied up in his apartment, based alpha move right there. He decides to head out and explore the town, and he notices some SOS signs near some convenience stores, and he decides to check it out. And that is where he meets our other main character, Fujino Mitsuki, and her two little brothers. They are the last survivors of this group that was hiding out here, and are pretty much at death's door by the time our main character finds them. And he decides to be, the generous human that he is and helps them out. He gives them food and is basically able to go out and get supplies since he is basically immune and is able to help them survive. Now, our main character isn't a good guy, but he's also not a complete scumbag. He's not going to force himself on this girl, but he also isn't doing shit for free, and he basically explains it like this. He's the one doing all the work, giving them all this food, all this water, all this protection, and they have nothing to give him in return. So what would any young male in this situation ask? Now, I'm not saying this is a good guy. I'm just saying, zombie apocalypse, times are times, man. My dude Takemura got to do what Takemura does, and he basically ends up exchanging food for sex, and this goes on for quite some time. And during this entire time, they have some other little adventures, like she has a mental breakdown, tries to run away, and he ends up saving them. A guy tries to come in and attack her, and he ends up killing him. Just the usual shenanigans that you get into during a zombie apocalypse. So eventually things start to get a little bad, and Takemura notices that the zombies are behaving oddly strange. So the zombies like to wander around during the day, and they kind of just reenact their lives. Like, they would go to the train station and wait on the train. They would go to their usual convenience stores, all while also ignoring our main character. But he also comes across something else that's very interesting. The more humans the zombies eat, the smarter they get. So he eventually ends up running across some pretty high intellect zombies, and he keeps a mental note of that and like, hey, that's kind of bad. That might be a problem at some point in the future. Now, you might be wondering what has happened to his zombie waifu the entire time. She is still chained in his apartment, and he comes back every now and then, and they have some, cuddles times. But he notices that because of the cuddle times, that she is also getting smarter because of that. So she tries to constantly follow him around, and he tries to make sure that she doesn't do that. Because if he were to take her to like a human civilization, then she might die or she might attack a bunch of other people, and I don't think any of us want that. So eventually, after all the shenanigans that Takemura and Fujino go through, they decide to head towards this kind of settlement that they have set up at City Hall, where a bunch of people have gotten together and have formed this little community. He drops her and her two little brothers off, and he basically makes an agreement with them He'll get them stuff whenever they want, but he's allowed to come and go as he pleases, so that way he can go back to his apartment whenever he wants and have his cuddle time. And that is the gist of this manga. There hasn't been too many chapters released yet, but every one that releases is actually a really, really good read, so I would definitely recommend it. The main character isn't a saint, but he's also not evil. He's kind of just like your average Joe that happens to have like every dude's dream of being like the god during a zombie apocalypse, because he's immune. All the zombies completely ignore him. He can kill as many as he wants. He can get bit by as many as he wants, even though they would never bite him, and nothing's going to happen because they just don't even recognize him. So it will be interesting to see how this story plays out. I do think the zombie waifu is going to come into play at some point, because they did make an emphasis that she is definitely getting smarter because of the cuddle time that they are having. So I think she might come into play and save his life at some point. And I definitely do think that some of the zombies might get smart enough and start their own little civilizations and maybe recognize that Takamura is a threat. I can definitely see this manga really going some interesting places, so definitely check this out. Keep this on your radar if you have not already. Titties, violence, zombies, what more do you want? Hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.